Making remote learning more inclusive. This video provides hints and tips to help you be more inclusive when teaching remotely. What do we mean by inclusive education? All learners have the right to join in and succeed at remote learning. Education systems should include all learners and support their individual needs. For example, by planning or adapting an activity to help one or more learners participate in a different way. We call these reasonable accommodations. Whether teaching in a classroom or remotely, teachers should make reasonable accommodations for learners and understand and remove any barriers they face to learning. Inclusive remote learning. Adapting learning activities to suit learners' different strengths, needs, and ways of learning can help everyone to participate and achieve more. Online platforms provide opportunities to make remote learning more accessible. But when you or your learners don't have access to devices, internet, or electricity, you will need to use accessible offline approaches too. Understanding learners' needs. Every learner needs support. Some learners need extra support, some or all of the time. Speak to learners, their parents or caregivers. Ask them what gets in the way of learning and how you could lift those barriers. Contact disabled people's organisations or people with disabilities for advice. They will have good ideas that suit your context. Planning and preparation. Think carefully about each learning activity and how your learners will experience it. How can you help learners access written materials? Every learner has different preferences for online and printed materials. Here are some options to consider. Check the accessibility of the online platform you're using. Each platform has its own features, so decide which ones you need to use. Provide verbal or recorded audio instructions and explanations as well as written instructions. Describe diagrams and visual images. Avoid unnecessary clutter on the screen and on paper. Only show the images and information needed to help learners understand and meet learning objectives. Fonts and colours. Use at least size 12 font for printed or on-screen text and at least size 18 font in PowerPoint. Use a sans serif font such as Arial, Verdana or Tahoma, which are easy to read. Ask what size font your learners need and whether they find double-spaced lines easier to read. Don't use different coloured fonts and backgrounds. Stick with black font on a white background. How can you supplement written content with tactile materials? Plan lessons or activities that use tactile materials for identifying, making, and building things. This helps all learners, but especially those who have difficulty seeing or understanding. For example, While learning vocabulary or adjectives such as hard, soft, rough, ball, cup, learners could touch and hold objects and feel different textures. Choose materials that are easily available at home. How can you help learners listen and speak? During online lessons, encourage learners, especially those who lip read, to work in a well-lit space with a clear view of the screen so they can see your face. Encourage learners to sit somewhere with minimal background noise so they can hear and be heard as clearly as possible. Speak clearly at a normal speed and volume. Use plenty of non-verbal communication too, like body language. Use any visual resources available on the online platform, such as the whiteboard. Show photos, drawings, video clips, GIFs, or objects to reinforce verbal messages. Use online classroom management techniques to allow learners to speak individually, ask questions, and listen to each other without all talking at once. For example, ask learners to raise their hand virtually if they want to speak. You may be able to mute them until it is their turn to speak. Closed captioning and sign language. Consider whether to use closed captioning. This provides a transcript of the audio being broadcast. Find out whether any of your learners use sign language. Ask your learners and their caregivers to guide you on blending their sign language with your English language teaching. Encourage learners to have an interpreter with them at home, if possible, during lessons. Give the learner and parent or interpreter the lesson outline in advance. If you don't already sign, learn some simple signs to communicate different phases of a lesson, such as when an activity starts and stops. How can you support movement during learning? Allow time at the beginning of each online lesson for learners to gather materials they need so that these are easily at hand. Share brief notes with parents or caregivers before the lesson so they can prepare to support any movement where needed. Adapt activity movements to learners' needs and abilities. Think about how to make a movement activity work well in smaller spaces. Remember that not all learners have access to suitable furniture at home. Break lessons into smaller sections so learners do not sit or stand in the same place for too long. Encourage learners to move and look away from the screen for a few minutes every 15 to 20 minutes to support their physical and eye health. Lesson management. Send materials or instructions to learners via email or phone before an online lesson to help them prepare. Set up routines for the beginning and end of online lessons to reduce anxiety and help learners focus. Break online and offline activities down step by step. Provide simple instructions and repeat them if necessary. Encourage everyone to complete as much of the activity as they can. Reward everyone's efforts, not just those who complete the whole task. Use breakout rooms in online platforms for pair and small group work. Think about any access needs learners might have during breakout sessions. Could you use buddying and peer support approaches? You may also be able to plan for peer support during offline activities. Use visual, auditory, and physical activities, speaking, drawing, writing, moving, to vary online lessons and offline activities and help everyone join in. Transition between activities regularly, but don't go so fast that some learners can't keep up. Use sound and song to bring back focus, especially when working with younger children. Facilitate this yourself during an online lesson, or send recordings and encourage parents to play them during offline activities. Practice and learn. Run a practice online lesson with learners and parents to find out what works for everyone. You can then adapt the rest of your online lessons. Keep track of how offline activities are going. Do you need to change things generally for all learners, or make specific, reasonable accommodations? As you get to know your learners better, many of these teaching tips will come naturally to you. And more importantly, you will develop more of your own solutions.